A woman dragged her screaming kid into my salon and demanded, "Give him a free haircut because we're loyal customers." When I reminded her we don't offer free services, she scoffed, "Then I'll tell everyone you discriminated against us." I pulled up the appointment history, smiled, and said, "That's interesting because you've never been here before." This happened a few months ago at my salon in Denver, Colorado. I've been running this place for over 11 years. It's a modest space, 5 chairs, 2 shampoo stations, and a tiny break room that smells like burnt popcorn and old coffee, no matter how much we clean. My regulars are amazing, teachers, nurses, some business folks from downtown. I've even got a few elderly ladies who still come in every Saturday morning like clockwork. We keep things simple, clean, and consistent. I don't deal with drama often. I avoid it when I can. But this lady? She walked in like she owned the place and dropped a level of entitlement I hadn't seen in years. It was a Tuesday. Quiet day. The kind where we maybe get 4 or 5 walk-ins all day. One of my stylists had just finished with a client and was cleaning up her station. I was at the front desk sorting out next week's appointments when the front door slammed open like someone kicked it. This woman barges in with a red-faced, screaming kid. He's maybe 6. Screaming like someone just told him Christmas was canceled. She's dragging him behind her like a carry-on suitcase with a busted wheel. No hello. No question. Just, "We need a haircut." Now, I look up. She's already marching toward the nearest open chair like it's reserved for her. I've seen pushy parents before, but this was something else. I keep my voice calm. "Do you have an appointment?" She doesn't even turn around. "No, but we're loyal customers. You can squeeze us in." I blink. Loyal customers? I've been here over a decade. I know the faces. She wasn't one of them. But I stay polite. "We're a little booked, but I can check the schedule." She cuts me off. "Also, since we're regulars, I assume this one's on the house." Now I know she's full of it. We don't do free haircuts unless it's a promotional thing, and even then, you have to book online and use a code. I look at her again, still dragging the kid toward the chair like she's entitled to the service. I say, "Sorry, we don't offer free haircuts." She turns, looks at me dead in the eye, and scoffs. "Are you serious right now?" "Very," I say. "We don't have anything like that, and I don't recognize you." Her jaw tightens. "We've been coming here for years." I gesture toward the computer. "What's the name on your last appointment?" She glares at me. "Just look up Michael." That's apparently the kid's name. He's still crying, by the way. Loud enough to rattle the mirrors. I type it in. Nothing. I try her first name, which she finally gives me. Still nothing. I turn the screen so she can see. "There's no record of you ever booking with us." She snorts. "Oh, you must have messed it up. My sister brought him here last time. Or maybe my mom." I say, "We still wouldn't have given a free haircut." That's when she explodes. "Wow. So that's how it is," she shouts. "You don't want to help a struggling mother? You know, I knew this place had bad energy. You think you're better than everyone? You think just because you run a salon, you can treat people like garbage." Now everyone in the salon is staring. My stylists pause mid-cut. One client pulls out her phone and starts recording. Then comes the kicker. "If you don't cut his hair, I'll go online and tell everyone you discriminated against us." There it was. The threat. The weapon of every entitled customer in 2020's America. Bad reviews and fake accusations. I don't raise my voice. I don't even flinch. I've had people try this nonsense before, but this one hit differently because of how smug she looked, like she thought I'd cave. I say, "Ma'am, feel free to leave a review. I'll also be responding to it with screenshots showing you've never been here." She scoffs again. "You can fake that. Anyone can fake that." I say, "Cool. Then we'll let Google reviews sort it out." She whips out her phone and starts taking pictures. Not of the menu or her kid, of me, the front desk, even the security camera. She says, "I'll make sure nobody ever comes here again." My cousin's got a big following on TikTok. She'll blast this everywhere. By now, one of my stylists, Angie, steps in. Angie's been with me for 7 years. Doesn't take crap from anyone. She says, "Lady, you're making a scene. Take your kid and leave." Nobody's cutting his hair. The woman turns purple. "Oh, you're all trash. I hope this place goes under." She storms out, dragging the still screaming Michael with her. The door slams so hard it sets off the chimes again. We sit in silence for a minute. Then Angie mutters, "Loyal customer, my ass." 5 minutes later, I check our Google listing. Boom. There it is. 1-star review already up. Her username is something like TruthTellerMama303. She wrote a wall of text saying we refused to serve her because of her background, that we were racist, that her child was traumatized, and that our business should be investigated. It gets worse. She posts the same thing to Facebook, tags us, leaves a similar review on Yelp. I screenshot everything. I post our side of the story, along with a picture of the empty appointment history under every name she gave us. I don't insult her. I don't argue. I just post facts. Within an hour, the post starts blowing up, not hers, mine. My regulars, people I haven't seen in months, even some who just follow the salon on Instagram, they all start chiming in. Love this place, been coming here for years. Never had a bad experience. Owner is amazing. I was literally getting my hair done when this happened. She was lying. More people start sharing the video the other client took. Her whole tantrum. Her screaming. Her threatening to ruin us. Her fake story collapses in under 24 hours. But she doesn't stop. She starts messaging us on Facebook using different accounts. Take the post down. This is harassment. I'll sue. Then, my personal page gets a friend request from someone with her kid as the profile picture. She's not backing off. She's escalating. And that's where things took a turn I really didn't expect. I didn't reply to any of her messages. I just kept everything, screenshots, timestamps, even the video that was already spreading around. I wasn't about to take down my post, and I wasn't deleting anything. She wanted attention. Now she had it. And it wasn't the kind she could control. 2 days later, I walk into the salon early, before anyone else, and there's trash scattered outside the front door. Not like someone dropped a cup or wrapper. It's bags. Torn open. Old food. Diapers. Someone dumped their garbage right at our entrance, and then spread it around like they wanted it to be noticed. I check the security footage. It's her. 2:14 a.m. Same hoodie from the day she came in. She pulled up in a small silver SUV, got out with 2 full black garbage bags, and started throwing stuff at our front windows. She even flipped off the camera before driving away. I saved that footage too. And now I knew this wasn't just some angry customer lashing out with a review. This was personal. When my team showed up, I didn't tell them everything, just said I was handling it. We cleaned up, got on with the day. But I called a lawyer friend that night, asked what I should do, what I could legally do. He said keep documenting everything, and if it escalates, file for a restraining order. The next morning, someone left a dead squirrel in our planter. Yes, a squirrel. Dead. Stuffed in like some kind of warning. Like we were in a bad mafia movie, but the budget only allowed for roadkill. My stylist Angie lost it. This woman is unstable. I nodded. And I'm done waiting. So I took everything to the police. The reviews, the screenshots, the messages, the video of the trash, and now the squirrel. The officer on duty didn't laugh. He looked dead serious. "You're not the first business this woman's harassed," he said. "We've had reports from a daycare 2 blocks over. A bakery across town. Same kind of behavior." I said, "What happened to them?" They filed restraining orders. Some had to install security cameras. One got a temporary closure because she called the health department on them over fake claims. Fake claims. That clicked something in my brain like a match. That same day, a city inspector showed up at the salon. Clipboard in hand, stern face, asking to check our licenses and sanitation protocols. He says someone called in an anonymous tip. I already know who. We passed the inspection. I keep my place spotless. But it was clear she was trying to get us shut down. Not just embarrassed. Shut down. Now here's where the twist really hits. That night, I get a call from a blocked number. I don't usually answer, but something told me to pick up. A man's voice, quiet but serious. I know who you are. I know what she did. And I need to meet you. I pause. Who is this? She did the same thing to my wife's cafe last year. She almost lost everything. Please, just hear me out. We arranged to meet at a local coffee shop nearby, neutral place, public. He shows up on time, wearing a mechanic's uniform with grease still on his hands. He introduces himself as Nate. He tells me everything. Same woman. Same tactics. Different business. She stormed into his wife's cafe claiming they served her raw food. Tried to demand a refund, free meals, compensation for her emotional distress. When they refused, she went full scorched earth. Bad reviews. Fake claims. Health department calls. Even got someone to pretend they found a bug in the food and tried to sue. It almost ruined them. Until Nate got fed up and followed her one night. Turns out she does this all over the city. Targets small businesses, pulls the loyal customer scam, and threatens them when she doesn't get what she wants. But here's the kicker, she's not just a random angry mom. She runs a parenting blog. A big one. Like thousands of followers. All this chaos she causes, she spins it into content. Claims she's being victimized. Posts crying selfies. Look what this cruel business owner did to my child. Her audience? Eats it up. That's how she builds her brand. I felt my stomach turn. She wasn't just unstable. She was strategic. And now I knew exactly how to fight back. No more reacting. It was time to flip the script. I just needed to make one phone call. I called Nate the next morning. I want in, I told him. He didn't even ask what I meant. Just said, I figured. Meet me tonight. We met in the back room of his wife's cafe, the same one that nearly got shut down by her. He had already done the homework. He showed me screenshots from her blog, posts stretching back over 2 years, all with the same pattern, a dramatic story about a business abusing her trust, some blurry pictures, long emotional rants, always ending with her Cash App, in case anyone wanted to support a struggling single mom. It wasn't just a few reviews. She had turned this into a cycle. Victimize, post, collect. But Nate had something even bigger. She's being investigated, he said. I didn't tell you yesterday because I didn't know if you were serious. But I've been working with someone. Who? He smiled. Her ex-husband. Turns out this woman, let's call her M for now, was in the middle of a nasty custody battle. Her ex was trying to get full custody of Michael, the same kid she dragged into my salon. And get this. He had hired a private investigator after she tried to claim he abandoned them. That PI had a whole folder of video footage, timestamps, even voice recordings. Her dropping the kid off with random people for hours while she went content hunting. One clip showed her outside a thrift store yelling into her phone, rehearsing her fake story before going inside to cause a scene. I felt sick. Not just for me. For that kid. He was being used as a prop in her scam. Nate told me the PI was willing to share the footage, under one condition. I had to give a formal statement to help build a case showing a pattern of manipulative, harmful behavior. Not just business-related, but stuff that showed instability. Unfit parenting. I agreed. No hesitation. A week passed. I got a call from a woman claiming to be a lawyer. Said she was calling on M's behalf and wanted to discuss the defamation on my business's social media. I asked her to send her info by email. She never did. 2 days after that, someone egged the front of the salon. We were closed. But the neighbor upstairs heard it and caught the tail end on their doorbell camera. Silver SUV. Again. That was it. I filed for a restraining order. Angie and the other stylists were all on edge. I let them know I was dealing with it legally, but the tension was there. Customers noticed too. One asked, "Did something happen?" Yeah, something did. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that little boy. I started scrolling through her blog, her Facebook, her Instagram. And something caught my eye. In one of her older posts, she's standing in front of a bakery in Boulder, crying about how they refused to accommodate her son's allergies. But what stood out was the woman next to her in the photo. She had on a work apron. A name tag. I called that bakery the next day. Gave them the name. The woman on the phone paused and then said, "You're not the first person to ask about her." They remembered. Vividly. She tried to say they made her kid sick, even though she never ordered anything. Left a 1-star review claiming she had proof of contaminated ingredients. But it didn't end there. She came back 2 days later, pretending to be a food inspector. Yes, she put on a fake badge and clipboard. Demanded to see their kitchen. Said she was reporting them. They got the whole thing on camera. Police were called. She ran before they showed up. Now it all made sense. She wasn't just dangerous. She was obsessed with control. With punishment. With attention. So I reached back out to Nate. "We need to take this higher," I told him. "Not just a restraining order. She needs to be exposed." And here's where it got wild. Nate had a friend in local media. A reporter. The kind who digs into scams and shady practices around the city. She was already working on a segment about fake small business reviews. He pitched her the story. She took it. With all our screenshots, videos, statements, and that PI footage from her ex, she had everything she needed. But the story hadn't aired yet, and M must have felt the walls closing in. Because that Friday, I showed up to open the salon and found red paint splashed all over the windows. Words smeared across the glass in sloppy, angry strokes. "Liars. Abusers. You'll pay." This time, she left her phone on the ground. Smashed screen. It had her blog email still logged in. Probably dropped it in the rush. And that's when everything changed. Because inside her notes app, there was a draft post. A story she hadn't posted yet. Title: "My child was attacked by a hairdresser." She was going to accuse me of assaulting her son. I backed away from the phone like it was a weapon. Now I had to make a choice. Do I wait for the news story to air, let the legal side handle it? Or do I go public myself? The phone was mine now. The draft. The evidence. The truth. But if I moved too soon, she could twist it. Turn the pity on again. Make herself the victim before anyone heard the facts. I looked at the smashed phone one more time. And I made my decision. I took that smashed phone and locked it in the safe in the back room. Didn't tell anyone, not my staff, not even Nate. I needed time to think. I was angry, but I wasn't stupid. I knew if I made one wrong move, she'd find a way to flip it. That's what she did. She made chaos look like someone else's fault. The next day, the news story aired. It wasn't just about her. It was about a growing scam, people pretending to be victims to ruin small businesses for free stuff, clout, or just out of revenge. They used fake accounts, bought reviews, and left behind real damage. The reporter didn't name her, but anyone who followed her blog knew it was her. They blurred her face in one of the security videos, but that silver SUV and her screaming? Obvious. Her own followers started asking questions in the comments. Is this you? Wait, didn't this happen to you last week too? The cracks started to show. But that wasn't the ending. Not yet. 3 days later, I got served. She had filed a harassment claim against me. Claimed I was stalking her, sharing personal information online, exposing her child to danger. She was trying to turn everything around again. And for a second, I felt like maybe she'd win. She always seemed to crawl out of trouble, even when the evidence was stacked up. But I wasn't done either. The court hearing came 2 weeks later. I brought everything. Her smashed phone, my camera footage, her fake Yelp accounts, all linked back to the same IP address. Angie and 2 clients agreed to testify. Nate came too, with his wife and the PI. Even the bakery manager from Boulder showed up, carrying a file of her own. The judge listened. Quiet, serious, no interruptions. When Em tried to speak, she got snappy, emotional, defensive. She claimed we were all working together to ruin her life. She kept saying we were harassing a struggling single mom. The judge asked her for proof of ever being a customer. She couldn't give any. The judge asked her why there were 10 different Yelp profiles from the same IP address trashing businesses. She blamed her teen cousin. Then the judge asked why she had a draft post accusing me of assault saved on her phone before the event ever happened. That's when she cracked. She started crying. Not the fake Instagram kind. This was real panic. She said she was just venting, that she never meant to post it, that her life was hard. People didn't understand. The judge ruled against her. Gave me the restraining order. Gave the PI's evidence to the county. Said he was forwarding the case to the DA for review. I didn't say a word. I just watched her face sink like a stone. And then it got worse for her. Her blog got shut down a few days later. Someone from her own audience leaked her post history. Screenshots, PayPal receipts, even fake GoFundMe campaigns. Her followers turned on her hard. She lost sponsors. The parenting groups banned her. Facebook flagged her for misinformation. TikTok pulled her account for harassment. The final hit came from her ex. He filed for emergency custody with the evidence from the PI, the court hearing, and our statements. She didn't show up to that hearing. She was done. And me? I got quiet. No gloating. No Facebook posts. I took down my original statement. Let the news clip do its thing. Let her words destroy her. But here's where I'll admit I made my mistake. I let her get in my head. I let it go too far before acting. I wanted to believe she was just another difficult customer. I didn't take her seriously at first. And that almost cost me my business, my name, everything I worked for. So yeah, I made my mistake. But I fixed it. She made hers too. And she never got the chance to fix anything. Last I heard, she moved out of state. New name, new blog, new lies. But people talk. Screenshots live forever. And karma? Karma has a long memory. So, if you're reading this and you're the next business she targets, trust your gut. Keep your receipts. And when the time comes, don't just protect your name. Burn her down.